Hello everyone, I hope you are all safe and healthy, and welcome back to another topic in experimental psychology. Since we talk about comparing treatments or interferences in our study, we will now decide whether our participants will fall in between subject design or within subject design. Let me first give you an example for us to differentiate the two design. So I want to know if ano ang mas effective na setting for studying. A room with classical music or a room with rock and roll music. In a between subject design, I will put group A sa room with classical music and group B sa room with rock and roll music. So between subject design, it is a design in which different subjects take part in each condition of the experiment. Different people test each condition so that each person is only exposed in one treatment. When we say within naman, all of them will receive the two treatment. Group A and Group B will be put sa classical music and also sa rock music. Therefore, within subject design is a design which each subject takes part in more than one condition of the experiment. It is also called a repeated measures design. Now let's dig deeper within these two subject design. May iba't ibang variations ang between subject design. Okay, so first we have two group design. It is used when only two treatment conditions are needed. Like yung example natin kanina sa classical room and rock and roll room. Next, we have two independent group design. Subjects are placed in each of two treatment conditions through random assignment. Take note class na dito, i-assign natin randomly yung mga participants natin. If ang population mo ay psychology students, hindi pwede na si group A ay buong BS Psychology 2A. It should be random. Dapat meron 2A, 2B, 2C, and 2D. Halo-halo dapat sila sa Group A. Same goes with Group B. Halo-halo din dapat sila. Dito na rin papasok ang controlled group and experimental group. Sa controlled group, wala tayong treatment sa kanila. As is lang. Sa experimental naman, meron tayong treatment. For example, the controlled group natin, mag-i-study sila sa normal nilang classroom setting. Whereas the experimental group naman, ay mag-i-study sila sa room with loud music. Next, we have match pair group design. In this design, there are also two groups of subjects, but the researcher will assign the respondents by matching them or equating them on a specific characteristic. Now, we could do this in two ways. First, imamatch muna natin sila at the beginning of the experiment. For example, gusto kong participants ay mga students sa LSPU na nakapagpatingin na sa isang psychiatrist or psychologist. I want to know if marerelate ba sila sa stress with this coffee that claims na nakakawala daw ng stress or this other brand of coffee na same din ang kiniklaim. So after ko ma-screen mga participants ko, I randomly assign them into two groups who will drink feel-good coffee or which group will drink the good coffee. We can also do match pair group design this way. For example, gusto ko ang mga participants ko ay may mataas na anxiety level because I want to know if mag-i-improve ba ang anxiety nila kapag nag-undergo sila ng cognitive behavioral therapy or psychotherapy. So para mas masala ko yung mga participants ko, I will give them a test muna to determine the level of their anxiety. And let's say sa test na binigay mo, sinabi doon na may high level of anxiety sila kapag ang score na nakuha nila ay 70 to 99. Therefore, ang kukunin ko lang ng mga participants ay mayroong 70 to 99 na scores. The rest ay hindi ko na magiging participants. And then, tsaka ko sila i-randomly assign sa dalawang treatment, which is yung cognitive therapy or yung psychotherapy na group. And then lastly, we have multiple group design. We use this if we need more than two treatment design. For example, is yung athletes and chocolates. I want to know if anong klaseng chocolate yung magigive ng more stamina sa athlete. I can also include a control group. Sila yung hindi makakakain ng chocolate. Tatakbo lang sila sa oval. And yung isang group naman, I gave them dark chocolate. The other group ay white chocolate, and then the last group, I gave them chocolate with nuts. Now let's talk about the within subject design. Again, tandaan natin dito na kung sino yung participant nyo sa isang treatment, sila rin ang magiging participant nyo sa other treatments. When we use this design, we must take note na mayroong disadvantages sa paggamit ng same participants sa treatments. Like for example, pwede tayo makaharap ng fatigue effects it can cause performance to decline as experiment goes on. Pwedeng mapagod ang mga participants natin. Like for example, I wanted to know if which room temperature, hot or cold, ang magre-result sa mataas na score on a math test. When you first place them sa first treatment, they can do well pa pero pwede silang mapagod at ma-stress out sa second treatment mo. Kaya pwedeng maging mababa yung kanilang score sa second treatment. Another thing na pwedeng maging disadvantage is the practice effect. Participants might obtain the mastery of your test or your treatment. Tulad sa math test, pwedeng mas maging mataas naman ang makuha nilang scores since nakapag-practice na sila on the first treatment. So, how can we prevent this? So, there is a way of preventing this to happen. We can use subject-by-subject counterbalancing. So, ano ang gagawin natin dito? For example, we wanted to know ulit if ano ang mas maging effective na room setting sa pag-study ng participants. So, meron tayong room with classical music and room with rock music. If same lang ang magiging participants ko in both condition, there is a high tendency na magkaroon ng practice effect. Pwedeng ma-master nila yung test kaya mataas ang makukuha nilang score sa second condition. So what I will do is subject by subject counterbalancing. So I will divide them into two groups, but lahat sila ay mararanasan ang both condition. So group 1, each participant will be placed in the classical room first and then followed by rock music room. So group 2 naman, each participant will be placed in the rock music room first and then followed by classical music room. So dito ma-observe ko if sila ba ay nag-improve dahil sa music sa room or ito ba ay dahil sa practice effect. As you can see, lahat sila ay nakaranas ng both conditions. Magkaiba lang yung kanilang sequence ng treatment. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you learned something new and God bless everyone.